Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Theta that has formed, and also a disturbance south of Jamaica, and then also ETA that is still in the Gulf of Mexico. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. So let's kind of delve into the details. Here is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. We see we have subtropical storm Theta, record-breaking Theta, number 29th storm of the season that has officially formed out in the Atlantic. Fortunately, it is moving away from the United States, but this broke the record. The all-time record was back in 2005 when we had 28 named storms. So this is number 29, just adding to the record-setting year that we've had. This is a subtropical storm that is moving away from the United States at 50 miles an hour. It's looking to go up to 60 miles an hour, but it looks like there's no threat to land as it moves off to the Azores of east at 12 miles an hour. More concerning is an area disturbance down south. It's looking like it's getting its act together. This is what the feature that we've been kind of talking about the past couple of days. Here's an X by the U.S. Virgin Islands, and this will propagate westward over the next several days. Now it gives it a 60% chance of developing, and it looks like conditions have become a lot more favorable as it enters this zone south of Jamaica. By the end of the week, especially end of the weekend, we could have tropical storm Iota would be number 30 that would be forming possibly south of Jamaica. And then we also have ETA. Here's ETA. Now, ironically, look at where Iota is, potentially this tropical wave where Iota is right now. We started talking about ETA, basically 2 weeks ago. And we talked about it several days before it actually even formed. And then it formed on November 1st. And look, I mean, it's pretty much identical where potentially Iota would be forming, basically south of Jamaica. And it's looked to move south of Jamaica. And Iota took a dangerous path. I mean, it took out, went over a lot of real estate, affected a lot of people in its path, and it's still with us, and it's almost creating like a swan shape now. And now it's back in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's been basically a storm for 10 days now, and it's still literally out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's stationary. It's expecting to slowly drift northward. I mean, we're going to be still dealing with ETA probably all throughout the week, and maybe even to the end of the weekend. It's not really expected to gain too much more strength. They do anticipate it to get it up to about a 70 mile per hour tropical storm. As it lifts northward, there's a lot of moving parts to the north. There's high pressure, there's the trough, there's high pressure over here. I mean, there's the steering currents are fairly light, but it looks like it drifts northward. And there's definitely some indications that it may not even reach the coast again. It may just, fortunately just dissipate over the Gulf of Mexico. Hopefully that will happen and, by the end of the week, and we won't cause any more impact to the United States. But here's how this is going to play out, and this has kind of set the stage on what's going to happen over the next basically 2 weeks. And here's the satellite picture. Here's where basically ETA is, and you can see there's a lot of dry air underneath. This atmosphere has been worked over a lot. As I showed you with ETA over the last 2 weeks, this whole area has been inundated with a lot of rainfall and landslides, mudslides, just torrential rains. Unfortunately, you are drying out now, and here's Theta. This is safely move away from the United States. But also here's the next disturbance, right? Here's the next disturbance by the U.S. Virgin Islands. It gives it a 6% chance of development, and this will be propagating westward. So enjoy the sun, but it's one of those things. The atmosphere is what they call reloading. It's basically in a reloading phase. As the sun comes out, it heats up, and and it moistens layers in the atmosphere. And as the atmosphere heats up, and as ETA will eventually lift northward, this will basically allow to not keep fighting for the moisture. There's right now it's kind of moisture starved. We got ETA, with all the moisture, and as this moves in, I do feel as ETA will lift further northward, this will allow this wave to move further west, and it won't be more or less stealing a lot of some of the moisture that's going to be available in the Caribbean. And as this kind of fades out, I do think iota would be able to form, and I'll show you that in the water vapor imagery. But right now, here's basically the setup. I mean, we've got a dominating high pressure over the northeast, and this is, whenever you have a high pressure over the northeast, you got, sinking air, divergence air underneath, lowering the pressures. And this is why a storm in the Gulf of Mexico is even going to, be around this time of year, because typically we just don't see storms this late in the season. But when you have a dominating high pressure over the northeast, this is almost like a prime setup for tropical storm development underneath. And this type of setup is really not going to go away anytime soon. I'll show you that at the end of the video. Here's, if we kind of zoom in to that 60% chance feature, here's the latest European model. It shows ETA coming north into the Gulf of Mexico, but here down south, it looks like an area of disturbed weather, and it's basically 60-70% chance of development by Thursday. But if we get into Saturday into Monday, there's definitely a lot higher probability, almost a 90% chance of this thing development. I do feel this will be a tropical storm by then, probably as early as Friday, if not Saturday, and it would be named iota. We have a lot of warm water to deal with still. This area in the Caribbean hasn't been really hit with cold fronts or just, it's really primed atmosphere for tropical storm development. As you can see, as you lift further north to the United States, and where ETA is right now, it's kind of like right under that little loop current that we talked about, and it's able to keep its act together. But as it lifts north, it's going to have a tough road ahead with cooler waters and drier air and shear. So it's going to be a lot to work with, and that's why I do feel like it'll be weakening of its approach, and if not, probably dissipate over the next several days, because we have a lot of dry air. So here's the latest simulated water vapor imagery from the European model, and this is as of this morning. You can kind of see ETA is like almost trapped in a bubble. It just got a lot of dry air underneath it coming in, and you can see why it's going to be sunny in the Cayman Islands and in Jamaica over the next several days, as a lot of its moisture gets pulled northward, and you're kind of in between systems. So definitely enjoy the break and kind of dry out in these areas. But I do feel as we get towards the end of the week, that changes in a big way, because here's by Thursday, and you can see as ETA lifts northward, there's a lot of dry air, right? And so even this water vapor imagery doesn't really have much moisture to work with on Thursday. So it's going to have a tough road ahead for ETA. But as this moves northward and as this wave shifts west, this will moisten up the atmosphere again in the Caribbean, and we start to see clouds and rain showers, isolated rain showers, start to enter the picture again. Places like Jamaica and like the Cayman Islands, and that's on Thursday. But by Saturday, you can definitely see by the water precipitation index, the available moisture in the atmosphere, this whole area starts to become a little bit more conducive for tropical storm development, because this area is getting more primed. I mean, you're starting to see the 2 and the 1 to 2 up to 3 inches per hour rainfall rate starting to creep back into the picture as the sun's been out several days, and as ETA moves further north. It's got all the available moisture to work with again, and we'll start to see some of the rains, some of the heavier rains, enter back into the picture, probably starting on Saturday, but especially into Sunday, into Jamaica. It definitely looks like we'll have a storm by then, possibly south of Jamaica. But looks like we'll have some heavier rain starting to enter back into the picture later on Saturday, and especially into Sunday, as this iota potentially probably forms by then. But even taking it a step further beyond and even into next week, I mean, the pattern over the United States really doesn't change. We have a dominating high pressure system dropping back over the United States. This is a week away. And whenever you have a high pressure overhead, you've got basically what they call the ridge over troubled waters. You got lowering pressures underneath. So there's not going to be any, substantial cool fronts coming to the United States. I know the average first freeze where I live in Dallas is November the 22nd. That ain't going to happen this year with high pressure overhead. And as high pressure overhead, you have sinking air, and there's not much moisture to work with here, but that allows divergence underneath and lowering the pressures, and all the moisture will be down into the Caribbean. And that's where a lot of the activity is going to be. So you can see by next week, 10 days from now, this whole area of the Caribbean would be in prime conditions with, a high pressure overhead, divergence air. Then you have upward rising motion air. So tropical storm development or not, this area will be locked in for tropical rain showers, if not daily tropical rain showers, as the atmosphere will just be in a favorable setup for that with the ridge over the United States. And if we take it a step further for the next 2 weeks, so definitely enjoy the drier times that you're experiencing in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands and Costa Rica and places along the border in Honduras and Nicaragua, because I do feel that's going to change in a big way as we get into this weekend, and especially all next week and even beyond, because the favorable setup over the United States, tropical storm development or not, you're going to be in a prime location where you're going to have tropical rain showers, daily rain showers, if not heavier rain showers. And over the next 2 weeks, there's this whole area basically from the Cayman Islands to Jamaica to Honduras, Belize, Costa Rica, Panama City. This whole area would be susceptible for a lot of rain showers coming up. I would say basically from this starting this weekend and extending for those 10 days beyond after that, just because you're going to be in a more favorable setup for tropical rain showers, daily tropical rain showers. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Definitely like it. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next video where I protect you before and after the storm.